Okay, right. Here goes first YouTube video in a very long while. Basically, UK's just gone into lockdown. I wanted to make this video because A, I've been wanting to make it for years, but also I think that it could really help people who have the same issue as me and wanted to feel less abnormal or just wanted a bit of help or advice. So this video is on trichotillomania. We're going to get up the definition. Trichotillomania, also known as hair pulling disorder or compulsive hair pulling, is a mental disorder characterised by a long-term urge that results in the pulling out of one's hair. This occurs to such a degree that hair loss can be seen. A brief positive feeling may occur as hair is removed. Efforts to stop pulling hair typically fail. Hair removal may occur anywhere, however the head and around the eyes are most common. The hair pulling is to such a degree that it results in distress. So, on to why do people do it? The main reason, like scientifically, is that when you pull your hair out, you get a rush of dopamine, which is the pleasure hormone, and that makes you feel good. That's what makes it so addictive. So you pull once, you get that dopamine then goes, and you're like, fuck, I still feel shit. Then you pull again, and then it can become a really harmful cycle that results in pulling, anxiety because you've pulled, pulling because of anxiety, anxiety because you've pulled, and you can get into a not so good place if you let that cycle continue. I think there's also a side to it that's related to OCD. There are some hairs that I just don't like, my brain just doesn't like. It sounds really stupid, but that's what's going on in my head. When people pull a lot of the time, they kind of have the hair and they're going like this along it, they're kind of feeling it. Smooth hairs are fine. Not smooth hairs, so like crinkly hairs, which are just curly hairs because they have like the crinkle that makes them curly. They are what my brain does not like. They are slightly thicker and I can spend time kind of searching, feeling for those hairs. Once I found it, it's very hard to not pull them out because that's just what my brain has decided is not supposed to be on my head, which is really annoying because I do have curly hair. You can't really tell right now because when I cut it, it like, I don't know, it's just become a lot less curly, but when my hair was longer, I had curly hair. So yeah, that meant that the majority of my hair was made up of those hairs that I wanted to pull. So not ideal. I'm going to do a little talk through of my journey with trichotillomania. It started, I can actually remember it quite well. I think I was in the airport, I was about 9. I was reading a book, I was bored, waiting for boarding or something, and I was just stroking my eyebrow like this, very innocent, and it was smooth, it felt nice, but then I kept doing that, and then I started with 2 fingers and kind of like pulling slightly, and then I would use my fingernails and pull along, and the thing with using your fingernails is that it curls the hairs, and once the hairs are curly you can feel that they're not smooth anymore and you want them to be smooth but they're not, so I just ended up starting to pull out my eyebrows. And then obviously my body latched onto that dopamine rush and it was like, oh, I quite like this. So yeah, that's how it kind of started. I was 9, so I think that there is a correlation between moving from primary school to secondary school, and that's definitely why it continued, because that was an anxious time for me. And then when I went into secondary school, I was pulling my eyebrows and eyelashes still. So like year 7, 8, 9, I was pulling there, and there are photos, there are like school photos, netball photos, and also photos I took of myself when I was at home, when I have no eyelashes or no eyebrows. So that was horrendous for me. especially because at that time I hadn't really done much research on it. I didn't really know why I was doing it. Also, I didn't know about makeup, so I didn't know that there was such thing as an eyebrow pencil, eyeliner, so I was just having to deal with it by myself. I'm just remembering a time in year 9 when I had no eyebrows, didn't have any eyebrow pencil or anything because I didn't know what it was. So I just woke up, realised I had a really big gap in my eyebrow, grabbed a biro and quickly kind of scribbled in the gap, only to get to school, realised that it had turned blue-purple, as biro does on skin. And a girl was like, oh, have you got biro on your face? And I was like, I just had to be like, I think my brother must have scribbled that on my face when I was asleep as a joke this morning. I just didn't notice. Those kind of encounters are just not the one, you know, not the one when you're in year 9 and just already anxious and you just don't want that. So luckily in year 10, I think I discovered an eyebrow pencil, started using that. It was quite peak because obviously I'm not a makeup artist, or I wasn't a makeup artist, and it's just so obvious looking back on photos that I've just drawn both my eyebrows on. It looks so fake, but bless me, I was trying my hardest. In year 10, I started thinking about it logically. I was like, right, I'm pulling out my hair, I really don't like it, but pulling out my hair from my eyelashes and eyebrows is really affecting my self-confidence at school, and everyone can see it, like it's on display. I'm finding it really hard to cover it up, and I don't want something that's going to be so obvious to people. So I was like, right, well, I'm going to try pulling from my head instead. So I moved it from pulling my eyebrows and eyelashes. I think still it was a little bit on my eyebrows, but I was like, no, not eyelashes anymore. If you want to do that, pull from here. So it was like lesser of two evils kind of thing, which is not ideal, but at the time I literally just couldn't stop myself. So yeah, then I started pulling from my head, but then a few years later I realised that that was also not ideal, because although the growth is less noticeable than it is here and here, it's still growing, and I had these tufts at the back of my head and I could not wear my hair down for years because these tufts just made it look ridiculous, and I didn't know any hair products that would help to kind of clump the curls and not make it so frizzy. So that was a thing, and then yeah, basically I just had to wait until the tufts grew out until I could actually ever wear my hair down. Like I would always kind of do it half up, half down, just to try to cover up the tufts. And I think it was this summer, so summer I turned 22 was the first summer that I could actually fit my hair into a low ponytail, and that was a pretty big thing for me. But it's just a bit shit knowing like what you do now on your head if you pull now, that will come back and get you. Like if you do it a lot, too much, that will come back and get you in a few years. In a few years you're going to be fucking hating yourself. But yeah, so that's my kind of journey. So now I can wear my hair in a low pony. I still have times when I get stressed and I pull my hair, but I'm trying to kind of get on top of that, even though it's kind of hard sometimes. So now on to how to help. So what I've been through for help, I have tried hypnotherapy, didn't work. I've tried counselling, that was better because it actually like targeted the anxiety, so that kind of helped. I've also tried CBT, I don't know if that worked that well. Antidepressants, I don't know if they worked. When I was 16, 17, my hair pulling was really distressing me. Of course I didn't want to be doing it, but I couldn't seem to stop myself. So I went to the NHS doctor and he said to me, at least you've got a lot of hair. So that wasn't great from the doctor who's supposed to help with things like that, and considering it is a condition that's on the NHS, like they recognise it as a disorder, and he was like, oh well, you've got enough hair, not a problem, which is just not the point and really ridiculous. Like I don't know how he could say that. So yeah, that's why I didn't really go to the NHS for a few years after that. But then I went back and then they gave me antidepressants. But I don't know, I came off them a couple of months ago. I don't know if it's the change of environment of coming back to uni with friends or what, but I don't feel any worse, so I don't know the effect that they were actually having on me or whether it was placebo, I don't know. But yeah, so they're the ways that I've tried to help myself that haven't really worked. But what has helped for me is targeting the anxiety at the source, because I know that it is the anxiety that causes me to do that behaviour. So after however many years of counselling, probably like, I think I started when I was 14, so a few solid good years of counselling. After doing that, I basically know like the ins and outs. Obviously I don't have a psychology degree or I'm not qualified, but I do know how to help myself. And so I switched from counselling to journaling, which has helped so much because it means that you can get stuff out. You can just like get it out your system, and also you're not having to rely on anybody at this kind of time in my life. Everyone has their own life, everyone is busy a lot of the time, and of course I do have a support network who are brilliant, but sometimes like it's absolutely fine to just help yourself. Like you don't always need to go to somebody else. So I just journal, get everything down, kind of figure it out that way. So that's helped a lot. And also there are apps that you can get, like sobriety apps, which help you count how many days, hours, weeks you've gone without doing a certain behaviour. So I've got that, and it helps to try to keep you disciplined. Like if you see, oh, I've gone 4 hours, 2 days, a week, whatever, without doing this, you're like, oh, I want to keep it up, I want to see what I can hit. Like I think my biggest time without pulling was like 184 days. I mean, that's still something that I strive for, even if sometimes I can't go like 2 hours. So they are what I would recommend, keeping track of how long you've gone without doing it, and also maybe talking to other people who have similar issues. Like it's nice to check up on people, you can do it alongside each other. If you're both having a shit day, you can be like, right, we're going to start the timers now, and then just every however long you can check up on each other, be like, oh, how are you doing with it, like do you need to chat about it or whatever, and just have like a support network who kind of gets what you're going through. Also, what helps for me when I find that I'm actually stuck in that kind of cycle of pulling, don't just accept, don't just keep working and letting yourself pull, like stop that behaviour, get up, make yourself a cup of tea, make yourself some food, get a yogurt, whatever, like just stop that cycle, take a break, try to calm down, maybe meditate, and then come back to it with a fresh head so that you're not just carrying on, because that cycle, like giving into that and just being there for hours pulling is what can really fuck you up, because you'll have gone for however long, like a month without pulling, and then you pulled once, you just kept slowly doing it more, and then you didn't stop the cycle, and you've now got like a whole hairball that you've got to throw away, and it's like annoying. Also, just wearing a hat can help, because then you physically can't get to your hair. And for my eyebrows, I sometimes put something slippery on them so that I can't pull. Like you can use moisturiser, Vaseline, things like that. Just physical barriers to help stop the pulling. If you've really got to get something done and you can't get rid of the anxiety, you just need a quick fix. These are the ones. So yeah, I mean, I have no idea who will see this, if anyone who it can help will see this, but if I do get any questions about it, or any other, or I think of any other things that would help people in this lockdown, then I will probably make another video just talking about them. Okay, cool, we did it. Okay, bye.